Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Vivek M, studying in Department of Information Science and Engineering, Sri Venkateshwara College of Engineering, Bengaluru. Flat plate collectors. So this is a topic in non-conventional energy sources. So let's see what is all about flat plate collectors. A flat plate collector is a solar panel device that uses solar energy to generate thermal energy. A plate which collects solar energy to generate the thermal energy. So this is called a flat plate collector. It converts solar power into thermal energy. Therefore, cheaper energy utilizing water as an operating fluid. So this is the basic model of the flat plate collector. Types of solar collector. There are two types of solar collector and the first one is flat plate collectors. Flat plate collectors are the most simple and common types of solar collectors that anyone can see in their areas. These are basically metal boxes with a dark colored absorber plate and have a transparent glassing cover on the top. Such plates are generally fabricated from a metal such as copper or aluminium, which is a good conductor. For better absorption and retaining of heat, these absorber plates are sometimes painted with special coating other than usual black paint. Here's a brief reference in regard to how these collectors work and what their components are. And the first point is there's a glazing material used in the flat plate collectors. The material is transparent and the solar radiation courses down through this material in order to reach the absorbing plate. And the third one is once enough radiation hits the absorber plate, it does its job, heating the plate. The job means heating the plate. The entire purpose behind generating and circulating the generated heat between absorber plate and the glazing cover is to raise the temperature of water or air that flowing between the plate and the cover. To diminish heat loss to other parts of the solar collector, the bottom and the sides of the device are covered with insulation. So these are all about the flat plate collectors. And the second one, evacuated tube collectors. When talking about evacuated tube solar collectors, you will find out that instead of one, there is an entire fleet of evacuated tubes needed to raise the temperature of water by heating it. Such tubes use an evacuated space or vacuum to trap the energy from the sun. The main application of this tube is to minimize heat loss. Here's a reference in regard to their components and working. A metal tube plays the part of the absorber plate. The absorber plate is directly patched with a heating pipe, and the liquid that has to be heated flows inside the heating pipe. The job of heating pipe is to show direction to the heat so that it can raise the water's temperature. Easier said than done. It's not that simple to understand how the heat pipe allows the transfer of thermal energy from one point to another. But don't worry, we have simplified things for you. There are naturally two ends in the heating pipe. One end opens at the side of the absorber plate. It's where the heat is generated. Hence, this point is known as heat end. And the second one end opens the side of the cool water that's supposed to be heated. This end is naturally known as cold end. At a certain pressure, the generated heat starts flowing towards the cold end, eventually heating the cold water. So this is the evacuated tube collectors. And the third type is line focus collectors. Line focus collectors, better known as a parabolic throws. The line focus solar collectors use the same principle for heating water or air that other collectors do, collecting heat on absorber plate and transferring it to the water that's to be heated. The collector here is rather effective parabola shaped reflective material. The line focus collectors are extremely powerful solar collector types. Therefore, they are used for producing steam for large solar thermal power plants and not for domestic purpose. There is a pipe in the center of this trough that functions as a carrier of the water. The sunlight gathered by the reflective material is focused onto this central pipe, which leads to the heating of the water. So notably, the troughs productively produce heat generating from the sunlight, especially the pivot troughs which track the sun throughout the day from optimal trapping of sunlight. So this is all about the line focus collectors. And the next one is fourth type of solar collector is point focus or parabolic dish collectors. The point focus collectors are also large parabolic shaped devices that are fabricated with highly reflective materials. This type of solar collectors again follow the same concept of the other collectors. They directly focus the collected solar energy onto a single point that usually absorbs the plate. The heat generated is so sustainable that is utilized for operating Stirling engines. These parabolic dishes can work as independent installations for efficient collection. They constantly track the position of the sun, and then so they can very well be used in tandem with concentrated PV modules. So this is all about the point focus or parabolic dish collectors. Construction of flat plate collectors. Flat plate collectors and a outlet and a glazing glass, and here a absorber plate, and this is insulation and flow tubes and header, and this is a inlet tube. So this is all the overall flat plate collector. So this is how it works by collecting solar energy to and converting it to and generating the thermal energy. Working of flat plate collectors. The working of flat plate collectors involves the transfer of heat or thermal energy. The operating medium exchange heat from the sun rays. The heat absorbing plate of collector is exposed to sun. As the sun rays hit the flat plate surface, a portion of their energy is transformed into heat. This leads to rise in temperature of a flat plate solar collector. When a fluid is passed inside the collector, the temperature of the fluid increases as the heat from the absorbing plate heat is transmitted into the fluid. Eventually, the fluid transmits the thermal energy from collectors to functioning energy systems for different uses. It works on the principle of first and second law of thermodynamics. So this is the working of a flat plate collector. Advantages of flat plate collector. A flat plate collector facilitates the collection of direct energy from all directions and diffuses thermal radiation. It is a clean, pollution-free system of energy generation. This process, the power utilized by FPCS is natural and renewable. The power which is utilized by flat plate collectors, it is natural and it is also renewable. Flat plate collector devices have relatively low maintenance cost and longer working life. It is easy to fabricate and economical. It can be installed effortlessly anywhere in the area. Flat plate collectors are fixed to a mounting structure in tilt and orientation in which they receive maximum sunlight. It will be installed in a area where the sunlight is in maximum. With flat plate collectors, more energy can be generated even at the low temperatures. So these are all the advantages of flat plate collector. Disadvantages of flat plate collector. Some of the disadvantages of flat plate collector are as follows. Unstable performance. Unlike solar panels, the performance of the flat plate collector is very unstable, affecting their energy output. The performance of flat plate collector has been found to be affected by many factors like weather condition, geographical location, and local climate condition. And the next disadvantage is insufficient storage, as the flat plate collector is only designed to produce a limited amount of thermal energy. Its storage capacity is also significantly less than that of solar thermal systems. Due to this, the electricity produced from the system can sometimes be less than the electricity used by the system. The flat plate collector storage facility is also linked with higher temperatures and it is affected by low iron dense. This results in continuous loss at the end of each day, which makes it impossible for the system to recover even 50 to 60% of its produced energy. So these are all the disadvantages of flat plate collector. Applications of flat plate collectors. Flat plate collectors has become more and more popular all over the world because it is simplicity, easy of installation and low cost. A flat plate collector can be used to heat groundwater or other underground medium. It is also effective in using an evaporate cooler and a humidifier by using an evaporator tube that can be connected to a tank of water with water source such as rainwater. Many commercial buildings or homes use flat plate collectors in the office spaces, restaurants, schools and apartment buildings for air conditioning or heating purpose by connecting them directly to the building's systems. They are also used in food preserving plants where they can be used for drying fruits and vegetables. Other common applications of a flat plate collectors are solar water heaters, solar water heaters, systems for district heating, the heating of the air or liquid in the industrial process, and a solar space heating. So these are all the applications of flat plate collectors. So at last the conclusion. In conclusion, flat plate collectors are one of the most common solar thermal technologies and can be highly effective in providing sustainable energy for heating space and water. It is simple to construct and operate. However, it has some disadvantages that includes unstable performance and limited efficiency. It is important to identify your needs while looking at the various types of solar collectors. Some flat plate heaters can be connected directly to the building's HVAC system, while others require separate electrical supply that needs to be monitored often depending on your specific application. As mentioned earlier, there are many benefits associated with using a flat plate collector as an alternative energy sources for heating water or space. But given the amount of choices available in the market, it is difficult to make an informed decision. So this is the conclusion to the flat plate collectors. Thank you.